I just can't stand it when a figure can't stand. It really ruins it for me. It's so frustrating when you pose a Transformer, place him down, and it just can't stand. Most of the time, I just give up and don't even bother playing with them. I just leave them standing still in the neutral standing pose on my display. Why would I even bother trying to pose something like this when I could just easily pose and play with so many other Transformers? For example, here's Skyquake. In my video about the positives of Transformers, check it out if you haven't already, I mentioned how I love the plastic quality on this guy, and that is still true. However, when getting shots of him for that video, I remembered something that I had long forgotten. He is so hard to stand. It is really frustrating. And even more so because I actually love this guy. I love the way he feels, the design, the engineering, and just everything about him is really good. But in the end, all of that does not matter at all. Because when you can't even do the bare minimum of standing up, there's no point. And when a figure is expensive and heavy, it is even worse. I am so scared for this Black Mamba oversized NPM Starscream. He's so heavy. And due to his Dorito proportions, he's extremely top heavy on top of that. And this, combined with his extremely loose feet that don't really tab in, means that he is so hard to stand up. Also, whenever he falls down, it causes an earthquake. I get so scared that he'll break one day, and I'm also scared for my table and my shelf. One day, he will fall, and I am not looking forward to that. Speaking about another NPM scaled figure, my Dance of Death Dino is quite disappointing. Look at how he is in my cabinet. I always stand him up, and then when I look at the display a few days later, he's just lying down every single time. He looks amazing, but I have never ever gotten him in any pose. These pictures will be the very first time that I pose this guy. And speaking about first times, I recently got my very first Thrilling 30 figure, Jetfire. I adore this guy. He is so fun, clicky, and simple in the best way. But being an old figure, there is a common issue, especially if they have white plastic. Yellowing happens when plastic gets exposed to UV light for a long time, usually. And this can happen to all colors of plastics, but it's more common in the white and the light grey plastics. And out of the box, my Jetfire was already yellowed. I'm not too sure if it'll pick up on camera, but these parts are a tad more yellowed, which do stand out against the really bright white in the other areas. But that's completely fine by me. I understand that this is such an old figure and it's bound to happen, so it's okay. But when a new figure yellows extremely quickly, then that is a problem. A very controversial figure was the Shattered Glass Starscream. Not because of anything with the figure itself. The mold is solid and it is good, but the moment you remove him out of the box, he yellows. And not even that, he yellows inside of the box as well. I actually think that this figure has a 100% yellowing rate. I don't think I've ever seen a non-yellowed version of this guy. I do think they have learnt their lesson, and we haven't really gotten anything else like this. But let me know if there are some new releases that might have this problem. And speaking about new releases, the NPM Sideswipe reveal does look pretty nice, and I am very excited to see the engineering behind it. But since I already have this, an NPM scaled Black Mamba Sideswipe, do I even need to get the NPM? Maybe. Even though I do like this guy, the car mode is amazing, there is just one thing that I don't like. These pistons. They piss me off so much. It completely removes any leg posability. You cannot move the legs at all. So when there is articulation clearly there, but the designers actively inhibit it, it is annoying. A more modern, mainline example of this is the Gamer Edition Megatron. A huge point of contention with that figure is that he has an abysmal knee joint range. But that's not due to the joint itself. There is so much range possible. It's just the fact that they decided to add these tabs near the joint that completely block the knee movement. I don't even think these tabs do anything as well. They are completely useless and are actively detrimental to the figure. I never mod any of my figures, I'm just too lazy for it, but this would be my very first figure I would mod. Because having a normal knee joint is the bare minimum, and the fix is just so easy. I have no idea how the designers overlooked this. This posability restriction is so easily preventable. And talking about restrictions, licensing can restrict a figure a lot. Personally, I don't care when a figure has a license. The car modes for Dino and Sideways are completely fine with me, but if you are into cars and that type of thing, I do see the appeal of having an official licensed vehicle that transforms. I'm just not into it though, because there are a few instances where it does more harm than good. Let's take a look at the Studio Series Rise of the Beast Mirage. This guy is not the best figure. The car mode is amazing. That's probably due to the license though, but it has a pretty lackluster robot mode. It's not really accurate and some parts are off. It's not the worst, to be honest, and I don't really expect them to do this design well. It is pretty much impossible. However, the Studio Series figure that we ended up with could have been so much better. One of the main issues was the kibble, especially the hip doors. The designers weren't able to break these doors apart due to the logo being on them, so they had to leave it as is, as one giant door piece. This kibble did restrict posability a lot. The Studio Series Dino was also compromised due to licensing, but not in the way of the figure itself. The figure is really good. One of the reasons why it took us so long to get another Dino figure is that it is extremely difficult to get the Ferrari license. Ferrari is very protective of its brand, and so we barely got any Dino figures. So in this case, I definitely support Hasbro giving up on getting the licensing. Sure, the car isn't exactly accurate, but at least we got the character. And speaking about Dino and Mirage, them and many other car transformers have clear plastic windows on their cars. This might be controversial. I don't really like clear plastic windows, and I would much prefer painted windows. I just don't see a point in having see-through windows when there's nothing to reveal other than just a mess of parts. Of course, there are some exceptions where Cogman is the pinnacle of where having a clear plastic window works, because it does sort of have an interior and it synergizes with the included headmaster too, which is very nice. But the majority of car transformers do not need clear windows. And I do think painted over windows look so much better. Any color is fine. Black, blue, or even orange. These all look very good. And with figures like Mirage, Kingdom Tracks, and 86 Jazz, it does make them more fragile. The entirety of Mirage's forearm is clear plastic, including the elbow joint. And that's because the arm forms the side window of the car. So they had to make the whole thing clear, which does make it prone to breaking, especially since it's a clear plastic joint. And the entire backpack of Tracks and Jazz is just made out of clear plastic. Whenever I transformed them, I was horrified of breaking it, because the transformation basically required you to flex the clear plastic. And finally, if you know me, you know that we have to talk about money. In the previous part, I mentioned the price increases. That is not the only issue with Transformers in terms of price. When they couple price increases with obvious cost cutting, it is not good at all. Technically, if they marginally improve the quality and overall experience of these new figures, then I would say that the price increases are more justified. But we can't even have that. There are very large price increases, but there is nothing extra that they give us to justify it. In fact, they are still cost cutting. A lot of figures should have something, or just something extra, but they don't, due to Hasbro wanting to squeeze just a bit more money out of us. Whether it be lack of paint in areas that definitely need it, like the face, the clear and obvious hollowing of plastic, especially when it's easily noticeable, missing an accessory essential to the character, or them just being lazy and not adding a single hinge or panel that would make a figure so much more cleaner and better. I do understand that there are engineering and budgetary concerns. That is completely fine. But what I am referring to are the clear and obvious cost-cutting practices. I have no idea how the Studio Series 86 Scrapper is at a Voyager price, when it is smaller than Bone Crusher. Sure, there is a ratchet joint, but that alone cannot justify this price jump. The least they could have done is added some accessories, or just added anything to the figure, to at least make it seem like it's more worth it. There is definitely room in the budget here. But Hasbro knew they didn't need to do anything. People would buy it regardless of what they do, just to complete the Constructicon team. And that can be pretty frustrating sometimes, because it just shows that Hasbro doesn't really care. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate you. Please subscribe, and I hope you have a good day or night.